Hi everyone, this is your instructor Marilyn Picor, and for our chemistry class, this is our last lecture. So this is for week number 16 to 17. So for this topic, we will be discussing about solutions. So let's look into our learning objectives. So first is that we have to identify the solvent and the solute in a solution. And then whether we will determine whether the solution is an electrolyte or a non-electrolyte, and distinguish between an unsaturated and saturated solution and perform calculations related to solution concentrations. And we will also be able to calculate the unknown concentration or volume when the solution is deleted. Okay, so let's first start off with the definition of solution. So, ang solution natin, this one is defined as a homogeneous mixture. So, pag sinabi nating homogeneous, it means you're only seeing one phase, okay? So, parang katulad ng sugar, when you dissolve that into water, so pag natunaw na lahat ng sugar, hindi mo na nakikita yung sugar, kundi parang nakikita mo lang is the water. Okay, so they are in one phase. So, we call that substance as a solute, and then yung pinaka liquid naman doon, we call that as the solvent. So this solute is uniformly dispersed in another substance, which is what we call the solvent. Now, solutes and solvents may be liquids, solids, or gases. So the solution that forms has the same physical state as that of the solvent. So for example, yung kanina na binanggit ko, yung sugar, when you dissolve that into water, di ba solid yung sugar? So once na tinunaw mo siya sa water, which is the solvent, ano nangyayari? Yung physical state ng liquid, in this case yung water, yun yung solvent kasi, yun na yung nagiging physical state ng ating solution. So wala na yung solid, which is the solute, kundi ang nakikita na lang natin is the phase of the solvent. Now, electrolytes versus non-electrolytes. So when electrolytes dissolve in water, the process of dissociation separates them into ions, forming solutions that conduct electricity. Now, when non-electrolytes dissolve in water, they do not separate into ions and their solutions do not conduct electricity. So basically, yun lang ang difference nila. Ang electrolytes kasi kapag nasa solvent siya, nagpo-form siya ng ions. So, meron siyang positive and negative ions. So, pag nagkaroon ka ng positive and negative ions, you now have, electricity can flow through that. Okay? And then, pag sa non-electrolytes naman, ang ibig sabihin nito is, walang electricity na nagpa-pass through doon sa solution na yun. Kasi, hindi sila nagpo-form ng mga positive and negative ions. Now, for the different types of electrolytes, we have what we call as a strong electrolyte, such as sodium chloride. So there is 100% dissolution of solute into ion. So meaning, yung sodium chloride, or in this case, yung table salt na alam natin. Okay, so yung table salt, kapag yan tinunaw natin, let's say sa water, nagiging strong electrolyte siya. So 100% na-form yung positive ions at saka negative ions. Ang positive ions dito would be your sodium, and then your chlorine will be your negative ions. Now, when the electrons from the light bulb apparatus are placed in a NaCl solution, the light bulb glows very brightly. This is true. So like you can actually do this like an experiment. So kung meron kayong water and then it's, let's say, salt water, so if you will use that as a battery for your simple circuit, let's say sa light bulb, the light bulb will actually light up. Okay, so we have different types of electrolytes here. So kanina nga yung nabanggit ko would be your strong electrolyte. So again, nagkakaroon ka ng dissociation completely. And here are some examples of that. So kanina nabanggit ko na yung sodium chloride. Okay, so when you speak of weak electrolytes, they disassociate partially. Dito naman, meron kang mostly molecules and a few ions. So, konti lang yung ions na na-form. And then, kung magko-conduct mo siya ng electricity, medyo mahina siya. So, kung imagine niyo kung pinag-usapan natin yung light bulb, although mag-light yung light bulb, hindi siya masyadong kasing bright, katulad ng dun sa strong electrolyte. So, some examples of that would be like this acetic acid. You also have water, you have ammonia, okay, and hydrofluoric acid. Now, when we say non-electrolyte, we have no disassociation here. So, meron lang tayong molecule. So, wala tayong na-form na ions. Ito kasi mga ions na to, yan yung responsible for the conduction of electricity. So it does not conduct electricity, and most of these non-electrolytes are carbon compounds such as methanol, ethanol, sucrose, and urea. Okay, so now let's move on to solubility. Na pag sinabi natin solubility, this is the amount of the maximum amount of solute that can dissolve at a certain temperature. Kasi hindi sa lahat ng oras pwedeng matunaw ang solute mo sa iyong solvent. Okay, so lalo na kapag na-reach niya na yung certain point na tinatawag natin na supersaturated solution. So we'll be discussing more of that later. So usually the solubility is expressed in grams of solute in 100 grams of solvent. Now, we say that it is an unsaturated solution when the solute readily dissolves when added to the solvent. So, kapag yung solute mo natunaw kaagad doon sa solution mo, doon sa solvent mo, ang tawag natin doon is unsaturated solution. So, in this case, the solution does not contain the maximum amount of solute. Kumbaga, hindi pa siya max, okay? So, hindi pa full yung capacity. Parang you can imagine yung solvent na para siyang room. And then, kapag konti lang yung tao doon sa loob ng room, sinasabi natin na hindi pa fully occupied yung room. Okay? So, ganun din sa case ng solvent at saka ng solution. So, kapag may space pa, kumbaga, dun sa solvent, okay, at hindi pa nare-reach yung maximum number of solute na meron, ang tawag natin dun ay unsaturated solution. Now, obviously, kapag saturated naman siya, kapag your solvent contains all the solute that it can dissolve. Okay, so, ibig sabihin, max out na siya. Kung let's say, kung ang room ninyo is, let's say, only good for up to 20 persons. So, ibig sabihin, occupied yung room mo, 20 persons na nando. So, ganun din yung solute. So, na-occupy na niya lahat ng space na maximum na pwede niyang i-occupy doon sa solvent. And then crystallization, this one happens when a solution is saturated. The rate at which the solute dissolves equals to the rate at which the solid forms. So, kumbaga, kahit na nagdi-dissolve ka ng solute, ang nangyayari, nagpo-form ka rin naman ng another solid. So, we call this as crystallization. Okay, so for example here, we have at 20 degrees Celsius, the solubility of potassium chloride is 34 grams per 100 gram of water, which is H2O. So in the laboratory, a student mixes 75 grams of potassium chloride with 200 grams of water at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. And we have here 3 questions. So the first one is, how much of the potassium chloride will dissolve? And is the solution saturated or unsaturated? And last, what is the mass in grams of any solid sodium chloride left undissolved at the bottom of the container? Okay, so identify muna natin yung mga given natin. So, ang solubility natin dyan, nabanggit, is meron tayong 34 grams per 100 grams of water. So, 34 grams na KCl, okay, per 100 grams of water. So, meron tayong 75 grams ng KCl, and then meron tayong 200 grams of water. So, ang tanong natin dito is, ilan yung amount ng KCl na kaya nating i-dissolve? Okay, so to do that, ang pwede natin gawin dito is that we can consider this yung pinaka-volume ng solvent mo. So, hanggang saan yung kayang i-dissolve ng 200 grams of water. So, for that, we will be using this, okay, yung solubility natin na para tayong nagko-convert ng factor. So, magiging ganito siya. So, 200 grams of water times, for every 34 grams of KCl, you have 100 grams of H2O. So, ano mangyayari dito? Makakancel yung grams H2O. So, may iwan ka na lang nito, yung 34 grams KCl. So, in this case, we have 200 times 34 divided by 100. So, makukuha mo dyan is 68 grams. So, this is 68 grams of KCl. Okay? So, ito yung kayang i-dissolve or the maximum amount na kayang i-dissolve ng 200 grams of water. So, since given tayo dito na 75 grams of KCl, so obviously, merong part ng solvent na merong part ng solute na hindi siya madidissolve. So, para malaman natin yon, susubtract natin silang dalawa. So, 75 minus 68 is equal to 7 grams. So, 7 grams will remain undissolved. So in this case, yung KCl natin, sinasabi natin dito na saturated kasi na-reach na niya yung maximum amount na pwedeng i-occupy doon sa solvent. Okay, now we also talk about solution concentrations. Okay, so ang concentration natin, this is defined as the amount of solute over the amount of substance. So pag sinabi natin amount of substance, ito yung pinaka-solvent natin, yung pinaka-solution natin mismo. Okay, so meron tayong 4 na klase ng solution concentrations. Yung tinatawag natin na mass percent or M over M, and then volume percent, this is V over V. And then you have the mass volume percent, this is MV. And then yung molarity, which is represented by capital M. So sa mass natin, sa mass percent, parehas na unit ng solute at solvent ay grams. And then sa volume percent, parehas yung unit ng solute and solvent is parehas ml. And then pag mass volume percent naman, ang unit ng solute mo is grams at ang unit ng solvent po is ml. Now for molarity, ang unit ng solute is mole and the unit of the solvent is liter. Okay, so itong 4 na to, i-discuss natin to isa-isa. So let's first start off with the mass percent concentration. Now the mass percent tells us the mass in grams for 100 grams of solution. Okay, so 100 grams of solution. So ilan yung mass ng solute na meron doon sa 100 grams of the solution? Again, pag sinabi natin ditong the mass of the 100 grams of solution, ibig sabihin yan, ito na yung mass of the solute plus the mass of the solvent. So magkasama na sila dito. Or in short, you can simply write the equation as mass percent is equal to the mass of the solute over mass of solution times 100%. So let's have an example for this one. What is the mass percent of sodium hydroxide in a solution prepared by dissolving 3 grams of sodium hydroxide in 120 grams of water? Okay, so ano ba yung given natin? Meron tayong 30 grams of sodium hydroxide sa 120 grams of water. So ang formula natin dyan is your mass percent, which is your mass, solute of the mass of the solute divided by the mass of the solution. So ito yung solute natin, sodium hydroxide, so 30 grams yan. And then para makuha natin yung mass ng solution, kailangan lang natin i-add yung mass ng solvent mo. Okay, this is the solute, the mass of the solute plus the mass of your solvent. Okay, so i-add lang natin to. So 30 plus 120. Yan. So, magiging ganito na siya. So, 30 divided by 150 grams. Then, yung sagot dito, i-multiply lang natin siya sa 100. Okay. So, therefore, your mass percent here is 20%. Okay. So, parang, can imagine na kung meron kang 100 grams ng solution mo, 20 grams nun ay sodium hydroxide. Okay. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng 20% na mass percent. Now, another example, the topical antibiotic ointment Neosporin is 3.5% M/M neomycin solution. So, how many grams of neomycin are in a tube containing 64 grams of ointment? So, maganda dito sa mass percent is that pwede nyo siyang gamitin na parang conversion factor. Okay, so, ang percent kasi, ang ibig sabihin ito is per 100. Okay, so meaning, pag sinabi mo 3.5% is just like saying we have 3.5 over 100. Okay? So, parating ganun yun yung symbol na yan. Ibig sabihin per 100. So, in here, we have 6. So, based on po sa given natin, we have 64 grams of the ointment. So, mumultiply lang natin siya dito sa conversion factor natin na 3.5 grams per 100 gram. So, makakancel dito yung grams of the ointment and you will be left out with gram of neomycin. So, we're saying like we have 64 times 3.5 and then yung product nun, i-divide natin siya sa 100. So, you have 2.3 grams of neomycin. The next one is what we call as the volume percent concentration. So, ang volume percent concentration naman tells us that this is the volume of the solute for 100 ml of the solution. Kanina, pag mass percent, that is gram per 100 grams of the solution. Pag volume, that is the volume of the solute for 100 ml of the solution. So parang similar lang sila, pinagkaiba lang nila is the unit. Kasi pag mass grams ang ginagamit natin, pag volume ang ginagamit natin ay ml. So basically, we just have the same formula, similar formula. We have volume of solute divided by the volume of the solution times 100. Okay, so for example, a bottle contains 59 ml of lemon extract solution. So if the extract contains 49 ml of alcohol, what is the volume percent of the alcohol in the solution? So sa given natin, we have 49 ml of the alcohol. So ito yung ating solute. And then we have 59 ml of the solution. So follow lang natin yung equation natin, the volume percent, volume of the solute divided by volume of the solution times 100. So simple substitution lang tayo. So 49 divided by 59, you'll get 83%. Okay, so that means yung ating solution is 83% alcohol. So you can imagine, no, pag halimbawa bibili kayo na isopropyl alcohol, di ba sinasabi doon 70% solution. Ibig sabihin nun, 70% of that alcohol of that solution is the isopropyl alcohol. Okay, now let's move on to mass volume percent concentration. So ganun din halos, except that this one naman refers to the mass of the solute in grams for 100 ml of the solution. So ano napapansin nyo, ang common denominator natin dito is yung number na 100. Sa mass, 100 grams siya. Sa volume naman, that's 100 ml. So the mass volume percent is just equal to the grams of solute divided by the milliliters of solution times 100%. Okay, so for example, a potassium iodide solution may be used in a diet that is low in iodine. So a potassium iodide solution is prepared by dissolving 5 grams of potassium iodide in enough water to give a final volume of 250 ml. What is the mass volume percent of Ki in the solution? Okay, so ano yung mga given natin dito? So meron kang 5 grams of Ki, yun yung ating solute, and then 250 ml is your solution. Okay, so using again the formula mass volume percent, you have the grams of solute divided by the milliliters of solution. So simple substitution lang to. So we have 5 divided by 250 times 100. So you get 2%. Another example. So typical antibiotic is 1% MV clindamycin. So how many grams of clindamycin are in 60 ml of the 1% MV clindamycin solution? Okay, so for this one, ito pang given natin. So meron tayong 60 ml nung 1% clindamycin solution. So again, pwede natin gamitin yung conversion factor, okay? So, di ba yung percent na yon, ang ibig sabihin nito, since MV siya, so that means it's 1 gram of clindamycin per 100 ml of your solution. So, if we will use this in the equation, so, multiply lang natin yung 60 ml doon sa ating conversion factor. So, napapansin nyo, makakancel dito yung ml solution. Ito yung clindamycin solution. Hindi ko na lang sinulat kasi medyo mahaba siya. So, that's ano may iwan dito? Yung grams na ng clindamycin. Okay, so you have 60 times 1 divided by 100. So you have 0.6 grams of clindamycin. Then, finally, we have the molarity of a solution. So pag sinabi natin molarity, this one has to do with the number of moles of solute in exactly 1 liter of the solution. Okay, so ang formula po natin dito is the moles of the solute divided by liters of solution times 100%. Now, dito ang ginagamit natin na unit for M. Okay, instead na minsan nilalagay natin yung percent, ginagamit na lang natin is M to indicate that this is molarity. So for example, what is the molarity M of 6 grams of sodium hydroxide in 0.250 liters of sodium hydroxide solution? So given po tayo ng 60 grams of NaOH, ito po yung ating solute. And then meron tayong volume ng ating solution. So that's 0.250 liters. Now, ang definition natin ng molarity is the number of moles. So ibig sabihin, kukunin muna natin ang molar mass ng sodium hydroxide. Okay, so kunin niyo muna yan based on your periodic table, yung mga atomic masses niyan. So, ang pinaka-total mass na makukuha natin dito is 40 grams. Now, from here, itong 60 grams na to, i-convert natin to sa moles by using this molar mass. Kasi we know that 1 mole is equivalent to 40 grams. Ayan, so ganito siya. So gagamitin po natin siyang conversion factor. So nilagay ko yung gram NaOH dito sa baba para makancel po siya dito. So now this will be canceled. So matitiran ka na lang ng mole NaOH. So now you have 60 times 1 divided by 40 gives you 1.5 moles. And then from here, ito na ngayon yung gagamitin natin to compute the molarity. So ano nga ba yung formula ng molarity? So for molarity, you have moles of solute divided by the moles of solution. So simple substitution lang. So we now have 1.5 divided by 0.250 liters. So times 100. So now this is equivalent to 6M. Okay, so ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na hindi natin ginagamit yung percent sa molarity, but instead ginagamit natin na unit ay M to indicate that this is molarity. Now, be very careful kasi kung halimbawa ang given sa problem nyo, kung let's say ito ay hindi nakaliter, kunwari ml yan, kailangan nyo i-convert yung ml doon sa liter. So, it will be helpful kung kabisado nyo yon that for 1 liter is that you have 1,000 ml. Okay, so huwag nyo kakalimutan to conversion factor na ito because this one will come in very useful for you. Okay, so let's have another example. Now, how many liters of a 2 molar NaCl solution are needed to provide 67.3 grams of sodium chloride? Okay, so paano natin to gagawin? So we have the following equation. We have the following given quantities. So we have, ito po yung ating molarity, 2M for the solution. And then you have 67.3 grams of NaCl. Ang pinapahanap sa atin is the volume. Okay, ilan daw yung volume ng solution, okay, na kailangan natin dito. So for this case, ang gagawin lang po natin is, again, since ito ay naka-grams, kailangan po natin siya i-convert sa moles. So we can use this to find the molar, to convert this into moles. So gagamitin natin yung molar mass ng sodium chloride. Okay. In this case, you have 58.5 grams. So convert natin yung 67.3 grams into moles. So that's 67.3 times 1 mole NaCl over 58.5 grams NaCl. So ano ba pansin nyo? Makakancel yung grams NaCl. Yeah. So leaving you with 1.5 moles. Okay, so now we can use the conversion factor. Na itong 2M, okay? 'Di ba we know yung pinaka natin definition natin. So we know that itong 2M na to, this is your number of moles per 1 liter of the solution. So that's why you have this here. Okay, so now we can cancel the mole NaCl, leaving you with 1 liter of the solution. So 1.5 times 1 divided by 2, that will give you 0.575 liters. Okay, so syempre yung mga solutions natin, hindi naman siya forever na nag-i-stick lang tayo sa concentration. So sometimes we need to dilute the solution. So pag sinabi nating dilution of solution in this process, a solvent, usually water, is added to the solution, which increases the volume. So parang ginagawa nating matabang yung concentration niya kasi dinadagdagan natin siya ng water. So as a result, the concentration of the solution decreases. So for this case, ginagamit natin itong equation na to. We have C1V1 is equal to C2V2. Your C represents your concentration. And then, of course, yung V is your volume. So let me give you an example for this one. What is the molarity of a solution when 75 ml of a 4 molar KCl solution is diluted to a volume of 500 ml? Okay. So tingnan po natin yung given natin. So meron tayong V1 dito na 75 ml. And then yung C1 natin is 4M KCl solution. Ito po yung ating first concentration. And then yung V2 natin is 500 ml. So, aalamin natin kung ano yung magiging concentration niya kapag nagdagdag tayo ng water dun sa 4M KCl solution. Okay? At ginawa natin siyang instead of 75, gagawin natin siyang 50 ml. Okay? By adding water. So, using the equation, di ba meron tayong C1V1 is equal to C2V2. So, since we're solving for C2, okay, so meaning, kailangan nating i-divide both sides of the equation sa V2. So, magiging ganito siya. So, para ma-cancel natin yung V2 dito. So, therefore, the equation for C2 is C1V1 divided by V2. Yan. So, we will substitute this. If you would notice, we have 75 ml times 4m over 500 ml. Makakancel natin yung unit na ml dito. Okay? Kaya may iwan ka na ng unit na m. So, therefore, the answer to this one is 0.6 molars. Another example, a doctor orders 1,000 ml of a 35% MV dextrose solution. So if you have a 50% MV dextrose solution, how many milliliters would you use to prepare 1,000 ml of 35% MV dextrose solution? Okay, so identify natin yung given. So first, yung ating gustong mangyari is that magkaroon tayo ng 1,000 ml na 35% solution. So ito yung concentration natin na required. Now, pero meron tayo ay 50 ml, 50% solution. Okay, so ito yung solution natin in terms of the MV. So, ilan ngayon yung kailangan natin ng volume? Okay, so para ma-reach natin to. Okay, yung 35%. So, using this equation, again, we have C1V1 is equal to C2V2. So, nating isolve ang V2. So, gagawin natin, i-divide natin both sides of the equation by C2. Yan. So, ngayon, makakancel natin yung C2. So, now the formula for V2 is C1V1 over C2. So, again, substitution lang po tayo. So, ito ay, kung mapapansin nyo, hindi ko na sinama yung percent. Okay, so we have our 35 times 1,000 divided by 50. So, you have 700 ml. Yeah, so, that means, para makabuo ka ng 1,000 ml na 35% solution, kung meron kang 50% solution, kailangan mo ng 700 ml lang na 50% solution. So, ang tanong, gano'ng karaming water ang idadagdag mo? So, magdadagdag ka ng 1,000 minus 700, we have 300 ml of water. So, kailangan mo ng 300 ml of water para itong 50% solution mo, madidilute siya into 35%. Okay, so with that, you'll be doing your last homework. So, ang last homework po nyo is homework number 11, and this is due on December 8, 2024. So, again, please make sure to submit your homework on time. So, para po hindi po tayo natatambakan sa mga requirements is patapos na yung ating semester. Okay, so I'll be keeping you posted on the schedule again of the quiz. The online quiz, which will start by, I think, the second week of December. Okay, so with that, guys, thank you so much. And that has been a privilege for me to have been your instructor for chemistry. So good luck, everyone, and good luck with your final exam.